Good morning. Welcome to episode 13. I'm so excited to be here today. We have, of course, Jerry to my right. Excited to have him. And our guests today are Khadijah from A.I.K. and Damien from MLB.
Good afternoon. Good morning.
I could not find a ton of information about how the name started. So can I get you two to introduce yourselves and let's roll from there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Khadijah?
All right. Guess I'll go first. My name is Khadijah. I'm with A.I.K. A.I.K. is actually an acronym for Asia, Ibrahim, and Khadijah. Asia and Ibrahim are my two other siblings because we started this family-owned real estate development company back in 2018 just in an effort to create generational wealth, to help change and contribute to communities in an impactful way. And now we're doing a lot of affordable housing, and that's how we began.
That's amazing, especially the A.I.K. Like the fact that it's family members, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the symbolism behind it. That's cool. I saw that when I was looking you up. I thought that was pretty cool.
Thank you.
And then Damien, VP of MLB.
Yeah, Vice President, Development, Pre-Construction Services. So MLB is not Major League Baseball in this.
That's what I thought when I read it.
When I told people that I was going to MLB construction a few years ago, they're like, where are they going to be building the stadium?
Where's Derek Jeter?
But no, similarly, MLB is originally McManus, Longy, and Brockwell, which are the three union college friends that graduated and started MLB construction in 1947. So, it's wonderful to be a member of a longstanding construction firm. There's been about I think we're on our fourth ownership change, successful transitions from the original McManus, Longy, and Brockwell to our current ownership team, Campbell, Lino, and Douglas. But we're not going to change any of the acronyms or anything at this point. It's been well established. But
Okay, great. Well, the beauty of having you both here is because you guys are actually partners on a project on Summit Ave.
Yes. Even more so, we're kind of just working together on a lot of the projects, at least that A.I.K. is doing. Mm-hmm. But with Summit Avenue, that is the construction or the new construction of 38 townhomes in the Summit Avenue, Hamilton Hill area. We came together because of a mutual friend that thought that we could be of value to each other in the Schenectady area and creating affordable housing.
Which we need.
Yeah.
Nothing's affordable anymore.
Yes. And even, we've gotten comments about, the prices that you set aren't, how are you going to say that's affordable? But at the end of the day, I think the average home in New York State is, I believe, around $400,000. And I think it's around $230,000 just in the capital region area. So, the homes that we are selling are under that, so they're still, they are technically affordable. Mm-hmm.
I mean, she says under that gracefully. we're currently, this is not a plug, but we're currently we're looking at $139,000 for our 1,200 square foot 2 beds and $165,000 for the 3-bedroom attached townhomes.
What was the square footage on the 3-bedroom?
3 bedrooms, 1,550.
Fantastic.
So
that's not cramped at all. That's nice.
No, it's
very good.
It's a good sized 3-bedroom, and I will say I'll throw a shout out to New York State that these sales prices wouldn't be achievable without the Affordable Home Ownership Opportunity Program, where the state has recognized that some funds need to be added to make sure that we're building wealth and equity, and we're going to inject about a little over $7 million into Hamilton Hill from the state of New York.
That's cool.
So you think about the downtown reinvestment initiative was 10, all spread out, and we're doing 7 in Hamilton Hill alone. We're really excited to be a part of the program and, hopefully be a good steward of these funds and create some real equity and home ownership opportunities.
Yeah.
I really like how you said that because I realize that sometimes public funds are free money. And I appreciate you being a steward of it. Because it all comes from taxes, right? It's not free money. It's not found money. It's reallocated money. And I love it that you talk about a 1,500 square foot home for, what was the price on?
$165,000.
I just did a house, selfless self-plug here if anyone's looking to sell. 952 square feet in South Colony for $290. That's $300 a square foot, right? That's your $450,000 price tag, if all things being equal. So yeah, that's awesome. Now, we have some questions set out.
Yep.
What stops me from buying 4 of them and
So-
renting them out? Please tell me, because there's got to be a control in there. Because that's a steal. What a steal, Jimmy.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. You beat me to it.
Let's figure this out.
So there is a so there is going to be a I believe it's a mortgage agreement with the ultimate lender. So the HFA is
Yes.
currently providing the bulk of the funding for it, and they're going to have a mortgage on the home. That mortgage, the buyers are going to have it enforceable where they cannot sell it more than 95% of the AMI. So, and it's also geared towards owner occupied. Mm-hmm. So we're looking to see that people are moving in, living in, and then they're maintaining that if they do resell it, that they don't sell it over 95% of the average median income. Average median income. Sorry.
Yeah, and even more than that, like we've been, we work really closely with the Department of Housing and Community Renewal. They give partial subsidy for the homes, and then CPC, the Community Preservation Corporation, which is the biggest affordable housing lender in the U.S., they give the loan to help link together. That's the financing that you get from.
Or the debt financing
Yes.
side of it, yeah.
And they have stipulations when we get into the contract, which Damien was talking about, the contract that we have to get into with them. We can't sell to investors. That's just like a full stop. Mm-hmm. And then we can't, or we have to follow the area median income based on the county. So Montgomery County is around $46,000. We have to sell to 80% area median income. So that's around 30-ish thousand, depending on if you are an individual, married couple with kids. Mm-hmm. It ranges, or it varies. Mm-hmm. But we have to, like, we've been in, we're doing a 9-house rehab over in Amsterdam, and we've had to actually get out of contracts, purchase sale agreements, where we were, the family was 125% AMI. They were only making like $80,000, and we had to get out of the contract with them because HCR was like, they make too much. Mm-hmm. Which that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But we
That's a good problem to have.
it is a good problem, but we can't.
To a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this particular situation, you have a window and you got to fly through it.
Yeah.
It's right up, down, you're hitting the wall.
They have final say on who we can sell these homes to, and even who we can get into contracts with into contracts with for these homes. Mm-hmm. So we can't. We have very strict guidelines on who we can sell to, and an investor can't just come in and say, "Yeah, I'm gonna flip it in a certain amount of years."
We do have a little bit more, I think, flexibility and leniency for the Schenectady project here in Hamilton Hill because of the census tract. We still have some of those requirements, but it can be very challenging. We have a scenario where even people making $80,000 to $90,000 a year are struggling to find homes that are affordable for them. Right. That's
Exactly.
that's the kind of
Every
crisis
day
that
we
we're
bump
in
into
right
it.
Yeah.
You're speaking to in this case, you're speaking to the choir. Jerry and I are out there every day booking it. He just came from some showings.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean,
Multiple
we bump.
offers.
Oh my God, dude.
Exactly.
It's exhausting. Nine times out of 10 now, I have an escalation clause, and I say at the end of the day, I want you to pick a number where if you paid a penny more, you wouldn't want the house, and I want you to put that number on paper, and that's our max number. And
Was it a mill?
no,
Because it's going up that high.
well, we just got to. I
No,
had
it's-
2 really great negotiations this week, so I don't want to brag, but
we're focusing on local communities first, right?
Yes.
We've been doing our outreach here, our market research and everything. It's kind of focused again locally first, and we're also trying to partner with, and we've mentioned it a little bit on here, BCNI, the
Better Community Neighborhood Inc.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're right up the street.
home leasing as well. There's a
Yeah.
few of the different. So there's a few of the
home
different
headquarters.
home headquarters.
Yes.
oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, they're another. The goal is to provide to get people through training, to get people through financial assistance that can also give them access to down payment assistance as well.
They're HUD home counselors that they're certified by HUD that we have to work with to help make sure that the buyer has the financial literacy to not just get in the home, but stay in the home as well.
Yeah.
So they have to go through their own, 6 or 8 week course and get a certificate before. That's another requirement for us to get them into a contract for the home.
Yep. It's super interesting that I know more about King Tut than I know about home ownership, except for my outside of life. And I brought up King Tut before.
You say this every other episode.
I don't care about King Tut. If you're out there, King Tut, I don't care about
true,
you.
though.
Home literacy is as important as anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, besides these conversations here, who cares about King Tut? Except I brought him up, but the power of accumulating debt, how incredibly harmful that is long term, or the power of having some savings. So when something happens, you don't run to a payday loan and pay 40% on a paycheck you got 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So the fact that financial literacy is part of the buying program, I mean, it's great that it's there, but it also shows kind of fault in our education system.
Yeah.
I'm not picking on anything. It's not a political statement.
No, you actually beat me to the punch. If you talk to me for any length of time, I'm a huge proponent of actual financial math courses in our schools, if that's a possibility for that. When I graduated, even taking honors courses, from high school and getting ready to go to RPI, I didn't really understand how APR was calculated. I didn't know what it meant to have a credit card. My parents got into significant debt in the 80s, right? I was scared of it. And it was kind of a real challenge to overcome. And there aren't a lot of resources out there to help people learn that. A lot of it has got to be self-taught.
Which is expensive.
Yeah.
Self-taught lessons in finance are very hard learned lessons.
Yeah.
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 I had to take some finance courses in undergrad, and I still didn't get it.
But it doesn't need to be that complicated. A basic how to budget, how is APR calculated? How is your loan calculated on your home? Kind of what things go into that? What is PITI, right?
Yeah.
When you're looking at your actual monthly cost to own these things. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't even know what PITI is.
Yeah. I literally just learned a bulk of this stuff over the last 2 years of getting into real estate development and home ownership and things of that nature, because I didn't understand a bunch of it. And that was me coming in at like 29 years old at the time. So
Yeah, I mean,
So do you want to lead into PITI?
Well, yeah, it's just it's a full monthly cost that includes your mortgage, your insurances, your taxes that'll be wrote into escrow, and it's not something that's just as straightforward as even here's the mortgage amount and here's your interest on that mortgage amount, and that's your monthly.
yeah.
When we're talking about the homes that we're selling here in Hamilton Hill, we're targeting a PITI that is between 55 and 70% of the average mean income.
Yeah.
So really what we're looking when we price these houses is to find someone, we're looking for 50 to 65,000 is kind of the sweet spot that we'd really like to see people be purchasing those homes in, and they should be able to make they should be able to make the mortgages, they should be able to get certified. On the lower end, we are more than happy to bring some people in. They can go through some of the HUD counseling, get some of the down payment assistance. But again, we want to make sure that people are in these homes, purchasing them and staying there. They're not flipping them, and they're not getting, foreclosed upon.
so David, you're out.
To clarify,
You can't invest into these homes.
I found this brick over in Gloversville. Oh my God! Principal, interest, taxes, insurance,
Yes.
PITI.
Yes, thank you.
All right, and that is different when you are doing a cash flow analysis on a multifamily home. So you're talking about single-family homes only. So those are the four numbers that matter.
Yes.
When we talk about, I know at the moment, Khadijah, you're building some two families up in Amsterdam, right?
Yes, we are 2 and 3.
All right, so in that case, we'd have the four numbers that we don't like. That's the money out, but then we can also count the money coming in with assumed rent payments, assuming that the boat doesn't sink, right? And that's something that we calculate on an individual basis, right? So, anyways, I just want to verify it's
principal,
interest, taxes, insurance.
Yes.
Cool.
Now, how do we take the Summit Ave project and put it into different counties, like in Albany or Saratoga, wherever it is, Rensselaer?
So that we're actually hoping to do exactly that. I originally came to this area when I went to RPI from Pittsburgh originally, Pennsylvania. And
I was gonna say, pause. I was gonna say, you give me like Ben Roethlisberger vibes.
I could be his
know it was Ben
doppelganger.
in the chair for a second.
I could be his doppelganger. I did him as Halloween a few times.
Okay.
It works pretty well. But I have engineer's laziness, where once I do something once, I want to have it set up so that I don't have to do all of the work to do it again, right? Almost
absolutely.
a software model. So we did spend a lot of time during this project trying to develop it so that we can do more projects. And this also leads back to the idea of us. We were looking to be a steward. We actually had HCR, who was doing the review for us, Homes and Community Renewal for New York State, said your construction amounts are lower than we're seeing, and your overall project cost is actually lower than we're seeing for other similar entities that are users of AHOP. And that's because we're not looking to cash out on one project, right?
Yeah.
We're looking to be those stewards and to continue to do these projects and continue to be successful. Yes, everyone needs to make money, but at the end of the day, I think A.I.K, MLB, we're big proponents of that everyone needs to make money, not you don't make money at other people's expense.
Everyone needs to benefit.
Everyone needs to benefit, and money for money's sake is not worth it. But,
It's really not.
But making money when you're good at something that raises the whole community, I think is kind of what we're focused on.
A friend of mine used to say he didn't want to be the only one at the table eating dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right? He wanted to make sure there was room for everyone to be there. So
absolutely.
So
And
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I think the thing that we're seeing when we do a program like this is the holes that we see a lot of people slip through, whether it's with the lending institution, whether it's with the real estate agents, whether it's with the just the home ownership process in general. We're trying to fill those gaps. And if that takes a little bit more hand-holding or not as much benefit at the beginning, then that's fine. Because like Damien said, everyone needs to benefit, and we need to make sure that people aren't being profited off of and, hurt just so that we can build homes.
Yeah, well said. I mean, even to Damien's point, home ownership and sometimes when you're looking to invest, don't go hand in hand. People are trying to make the most, and sometimes that's at the expense of a tenant or someone else's life. So it's very true. But I love what you guys are both doing, adding some value into the community, especially places, in the Schenectady area, like the Summit Ave area. I reside in Albany, so I would like to see something like that in that area as well, because
we have been, it's not formal or anything, but we'd love to be working. We've talked with the land bank in Albany and looking at how we can recreate a process together with some of our other partners. I didn't throw out a few partners here, but partnership maybe with the Seat Center, because the Seat Center has been working with Charles Toohey. They've been looking at how they can build a similar sized home, make it cost effective, be able to make it so that people can afford it, and if we can, our interests align with that, so that's something that hopefully we get Schenectady taken care of, and we move on to the next one, and we work with our new partners and bring it to the other areas.
And even just the land bank has been pretty integral in all of our projects, whether it's with the land that we've needed to acquire to build, grant assistance, even just like hey, you should talk to this person. You should see about, see if you can get into a partnership with this person, or, maybe this person can help you out with like a certain section of the rehab. They've been the land bank / Metroplex. Metroplex is just for the city of Schenectady, whereas the land bank is for Schenectady County and Montgomery County.
Yeah.
But they've been very huge in making sure that we're successful in these programs that are going to help the community.
I'm going to touch on Metroplex just a little bit because Metroplex is the IDA here for the city of Schenectady. They're partnering with us to provide a pilot program, payment in lieu of taxes, PILOT, for the buyers. So not for us, the developer, but we're going to have a 10-year pilot program where the taxes are going to be reduced. That will slowly starts out low, and then it kind of goes up a few percent each year, so that over 10 years you're bringing the people back up to a full burden, the buyers back up to a full burden.
That's on taxes, right? Because they were doing an 8-year pilot in Troy for a while, and it would come up at 12%, 12.5% per year.
But that, again, that PITI, principal insurance or principal interest, taxes, insurance, if you can work on, that tax piece of it to make sure that people can get comfortable and get established in the home over 10 years is a big piece of it as well. So,
yeah. And that's one thing that I think is very important because a lot of people think that if a big developer comes in that they're only interested in making money off of a certain project. But initially when the numbers were done and we realized that the PITI wasn't factored in and it brought that mortgage monthly payment up, we weren't just like, oh, well, they'll figure it out. We were like, okay, how can we make this how can we make this become more affordable so that we aren't just saddling them with a higher mortgage payment that they can't afford or they won't be able to afford over time. So, MLB, the Land Bank or Metroplex, they, came together to figure out that solution. It wasn't just we'll let them figure it out after a while. Yeah.
I want to ask a quick question, and it's for whoever wants it. I have seen most low-income housing be townhomes. We're buying one now in Amsterdam for a client, hopefully to close Thursday. And it was built in '85, and it's a townhome. Is that because when you connect walls, you don't have to side it, you don't have so many windows? It's just a type of house, the way it's built and designed to give a lower dollar impact at closing?
Well, there's a few different things that the townhomes assist with, and you can actually see this model even on larger, more expensive homes. A lot of people are doing the townhome model. Is that you may not have as much property, as much landscaping. Those costs are lower associated with it. You do have some lower construction costs from the shared savings of the wall, but kind of overall, the standalone home is a higher cost to build ground up. So if you can reduce those costs, and then we're looking to pass those savings on to the customer or the buyer. In this instance, it's a big piece of it. But even still, so our actual hard costs, not including all of the soft costs, mortgage, interest, financing, design, everything else, but our hard costs to build these are about $495,000 for a pair for the two townhomes.
Oh, so these are semi-detached. So they have one outside wall and one common wall?
So these actually, they're 3 outside walls and 1 common wall. So there's one party wall, and it's kind of like it's like a duplex, but the halves are sold, separately. And that cost is, that's the real, hard cost to build those homes. So that's where the, again, that Affordable Homeownership Opportunity Program funding steps in to fill the gap between building a home for $495,000 and selling each side for only $139,000. Something, and then also the additional, the architects need to make money, engineers. The bank is providing the lending; they need to make money on what they're lending. We do need to make a little bit of money as well. For 2 years, for 2 years of work, 2 years plus of work on the project.
Yes. Honestly, just the problem solving, I would love to be paid.
So that brings me to my question. When it comes to constructing new builds and stuff like that, you tend to find people say, the new builds aren't the best. They're not built the same. They're not built like they were back in the 1920s, late 1800s. You see a lot of these older homes still up 200 years later. What are you guys seeing in the world of construction?
So they're not built the same. I will say that they're not built the same. But I would play a little bit of a devil's advocate in saying that I would think a lot of them are built better. So we are using different tools, we're using different materials, but as far as how we're designing homes to be hurricane resistant, you see a lot of stuff that's built same way we're building a lot of stuff up here with wood studs and siding and everything else, but assessing whether we're using hurricane clips and how the design works to hold things down and make it longer. And also it's a little easier to repair, right? So everything that we're building now, yes, is sheetrock plaster? No. Is there something palatably enjoyable about a plaster wall? I think there is, but not if you have to fix it.
Demoing it, no, it's not fun at all. That's right.
And there are a lot of costs associated with that. So I think that the newer building techniques, it is not the same. But I think that especially with where we're going in New York State here, and looking towards green, being more economical, being more environmentally friendly, how we're working on these things. I think there's a real benefit to it. And we'll also, for this one, we are doing modular for this particular project here in Schenectady, which was a bit of a challenge initially to find, because the modular piece tended to be a little more expensive. But we reached out to a lot of builders, and we said, hey, look, we're looking to buy 100 boxes, right? Each home is like 4 boxes. We're not just doing a one-off home. How can we turn it into an assembly line? But the modular piece has a lot of benefits. A lot of people are kind of afraid of modular, but we toured their facility, the extra insulation that they provide, the extra backing, the way they reinforce the back of the sheetrock, because they don't have to put the siding on, before. Like normally your siding, everything has to go from the outside in. You got to be weathered tight, and then you build out your inside. They can go inside out. So, sealing, making sure that your air sealing, every wire is foamed in place throughout, so that you don't have air losses.
My dad is a union carpenter and went private sector a couple of times, and he used to tell me that one of the major reasons why modular homes might be something great is it's always dry in there. They're never in a rush. No one's screaming it's going to rain in 7 minutes. Get the roof on. You're in the same place every day. You have all the right tools. Nothing's walking off. Nothing's getting stolen. If you need parts, they're in a bin. And maybe it was more of a romanticized story about it, because when you're working in the elements, it sucks some days, right? It's 5 degrees below zero.
Wood framing in winter is terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Exactly.
But then they ship it on a truck, and it's got to be able to survive and not break. So you're going 70 miles an hour down the road. It's a hurricane already. It's already survived its first hurricane, and then you build with it. It's cool.
Have you seen those things on the road?
Yeah, they're
oversized loads.
they're cool.
I'm like,
We're gonna
it doesn't hit me.
We're gonna see a lot of them.
Yeah,
I know.
There will be a lot of them up on Summit Avenue.
And even just adding to the whole rehab versus new construction, a lot of what we've been finding we're buying foreclosed properties. So these properties have been sitting there for 10, 15, 20 years, maybe even more. And they were built in the 1800s or maybe the early 1900s. And once you open those walls, because you don't really know what's behind the walls until you open them. Sometimes you find termites. Sometimes you find, lead and asbestos. Sometimes you find foundation issues. And
How about money?
never that. Never that. We did find a wedding dress one time.
In a wall, you found a wedding dress.
Oh no, it was in the upstairs. It was in the attic. Yeah,
Cedar room or something up there for storage.
Yeah, you buy these homes as is. The city or the land bank gives them to you as a quit claim deed, so you get what you get. And they, sometimes it just seems like these people left in a hurry, or maybe the house was taken from them and they didn't get all their stuff out.
David buys them on fire.
Speaking of financial literacy, don't let the city take your home. Sell to me, or let's list it, because what do you think that foreclosure is going to look like on your? That's going to kick a lot of people out of homeownership.
Oh.
People do not know that a lot of jobs follow them. Will pull credit. So to tie back to financial literacy, don't lose something that has value. Sell it first.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that caveat.
But even I remember when I was working at the Senate, a lot of people were calling in during COVID, saying we're going to lose our homes. The bank's trying to take it because we didn't pay our water bill. Like, how many people don't know that there are certain things that are outside of you just paying your mortgage, or what's all encompassed in your mortgage? They don't know that these other factors can lead to them losing their homes. So that's,
Maybe we should call it, instead of pity, call it pie tie. Payment, insurance, payment, interest, taxes, insurance, and extras. Because water bill will come up.
Yeah.
Utilities.
Pie tie.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like it too.
I just was thinking a lot after just listening to you both. When COVID happened, how did that affect your business inside and out? I mean,
so I was in development and property management kind of more exclusively during COVID, and it was a pretty significant challenge. The balance between needing to make your payments on your more on multifamily I'm speaking of in this moment. A lot of times people think landlords are, you know, these super wealthy people that have everything and, you know, that they're trying to exploit the little guy. But, you know, in our instance, we had real bank payments that we also needed to make on our multifamily properties. And that balance of trying to be good, again, trying to be a good steward of not evicting people that didn't, you know, that weren't paying, but also working to make your commitments, your loan commitments and everything as well was a bit of a challenge. We were able to get through it on our side by starting construction again. So I'd done construction and project management previously, kind of started doing some development work, and then in COVID it was like, well, how can we diversify and get back into self-performing some work to keep as many people employed as you can.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
was
and
a
that
little-
was
Sorry.
that was kind of how diversification, I think, and reutilizing your skill sets was our COVID path.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is because everyone's like, low inventory, but high demand. Where's the inventory? And it was obviously due to the fact that people couldn't get out there in 2020, 2021, and it was slow, you know, there was a slow in construction process in building homes.
Yeah, we were at the time converting a foreclosed church into a 2-family home over on Howard Street in Schenectady. And the supply chain was completely screwed up for us. It took us months to get stuff that would have taken weeks. So it pushed our timeline out of when we finished. So that's how we were kind of screwed over during COVID.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely some real challenges, but I think during COVID itself, you know, there was more inventory than buyers at the time. Nobody was looking to move during COVID, which was another piece of it. And that lull, even kind of after COVID, you know, 2021, 2022, it hadn't really spiked yet. I think we started to see the mid to end of 2022, 2023, when everybody was like, okay, time to come back to work. We'd been remote working for a while and realizing that we don't have to live right next to where you're working anymore. So I think that was a big impetus, at least here in the capital region, from what I've seen, of people moving up from the city and saying, okay, well, I don't need to be directly next to New York City anymore. Like, where can we go to? You know, anecdotally, I live in Niskayuna here nearby, and from probably mid 2023 to now, we've had probably 8 to 10 neighbors who have purchased and bought houses that have all moved up from the city into the neighborhood, and they're wonderful people. I'm not criticizing them for moving up from the city, but you know, that was who was able to buy those houses and everything. And you know, it was like the same day, like it list, and like you said, Dave,
Yeah.
you know, you're getting multiple offers, and you know, that's who's buying it. So you know, I think we're seeing that across the board, where people, and now the actual inventory is much lower because people are realizing they don't need to be maybe as densely packed as they had been previously.
Yeah.
So, Khadijah, same question to you. What was your way out of the trials, and tribulations of COVID?
I actually was still working during
Still
COVID.
working during
Yeah,
COVID?
I was still working full time. I actually had to be in the office even more because the senator I was working for wanted to do. It was kind of like how the governor was doing his Facebook Lives.
I see.
He was doing his own for his district. So I was still driving into Albany. So that part, like, I still was employed full time, so I wasn't hit on that aspect. I hadn't fully been with A.I.K yet, but I would still, you know, whether there was if there was some, you know, if there was some advice or guidance that my sister, brother, or mom needed, then I would help out with that. But COVID didn't impact me in that way. And then once things started picking up again, it was easier to kind of just.
So if I understand right, so A.I.K, so your brother and sister and yourself, they were more active. It existed when you weren't solely active in it.
Yeah, so we all have our pieces to play in it, but actually my mom, she was the most, because she'd retired from the state in 2019, the end of 2019.
Okay.
And she was kind of spearheading a lot of the stuff that we were doing at that time.
So what was A.I.K doing during the beginning and towards the end of COVID versus today?
We had just finished a single family rehab on Balltown Road.
Cool.
And then we were doing the Howard Street conversion from the church to the 2-family. And in that time, we actually had purchased some land over on Barrett Street because at that time we were trying to create an apartment complex, partially for assisted living, and then the other just to rent out. But we were just in the initial stages of that. And then towards the end of COVID, we had gotten into the Legacy City Access program, and we were doing that work, like the construction loan closing process, in the midst of that. So we were working towards getting to the construction phase, but we weren't there yet.
Are those your units in the 1100 block of Barrett?
No, I believe Live in Schenectady owns a couple units over there. Ours, there's vacant lots. Then there's some, I believe they're old garage units that need to be demoed. And then I think there are some buildings that are going to be demoed as well, but not all of it. We own certain plots of land over there.
Cool. I asked because we bought 1102 Barrett Street for an investor, and I spent a lot of time over there, and everyone was asking when are those new, they're sold as condos, I think, when are they going to expand and go to the corner, and demand was so high that people were buying them based solely on looking at the outside and the plan, and I couldn't even get a walkthrough on some of the buildings. I tried asking some of the people that live there, hey, I've got a buyer that wants to buy, can we look at your house and then make the assumption that, the fridge will be in the same place and the floors will be the same, but get a feel of it. And didn't even get a chance. Like, those are gone in moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were, before we owned some of those plots, they were owned by Live in Schenectady, and I think they were planning to do something with them. And I think they might still own some over there.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Well, it's an interesting scenario because they were in limbo for a long time until the market flipped back around.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting kind of view of the market forces on housing and how it makes sense for things that will underwrite or won't underwrite.
Yeah. Yeah, because the at least the interest rates from when we start a project to when we finish it, sometimes they'll increase on us.
Well, when we're at 3%, there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
and just about anything underwrote at 3%.
Damien, same question. I mean, what are the future projects MLB's doing? I recently did a video on the bidding that you guys won on the Albany Airport.
Yep.
So the upgrades look immaculate. It looks great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a project we're really excited about. We actually built the rotunda and the bridge that were there previously in the late 90s. So you've been around a little bit when you were also tearing down and rebuilding what you had built previously to modernize with the times.
And that's the oldest airport in the U.S. I read.
Yeah, so it's
Built in 1928.
and it's been added on to many
Yeah,
times.
I believe it.
It's kind of grown here and there. Currently owned by the Albany County Airport Authority that owns it, and managed by the county. But yeah, we're really excited to be a part of that project, and we're looking forward to the connector as we're going to bring it about, because everybody who's flown at Albany Airport familiar with queuing in that little bridge.
Yeah. The infamous bridge.
The infamous bridge, so we're adding, a great deal. It's going to, Y out. The whole terminal got taken down doing pile work and everything else. So yeah, we're very excited to be a part of that. We did finish a $90 million construction manager contract at Skidmore for the Center of Integrated Sciences, among others, which we were really excited about. Turned out fantastically. We also have another really great renovation in the former Bennington High School in Bennington, Vermont, that we're the construction manager for, that's being renovated into, again, affordable and low-income housing, a Meals on Wheels facility, a senior center, a gym, and a daycare, actually.
That's just about everything you need to keep society happy.
It is.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a nice menu of options there.
Yeah, and the developers on that, Hale Resources out of Bennington themselves, are local father and son group, and they're fantastic to work with, and we're really excited to be a part of that. And we are hoping to grow. We're hoping to grow and diversify a little bit. We're predominantly public works. The majority of our construction volume is public works, but we're hoping that we're going to be able to be a little bit more nimble and diversify and grow some of our market rate groups, some of our affordable housing, workforce housing, and see where we can kind of, add back to the community at large as well.
Where does public transportation enter into conversation here? Like if you're putting, how many units was it up on Summit? Or
38.
So you have now a bigger demand because that's been vacant forever. You're adding quite potentially a decent amount of demand on public transportation. When you do your planning, does that come into effect?
Do you mind if I take this one?
Please do.
Summit Avenue is kind of a really good location that I think a lot of people sleep on because of how close it is to State Street and downtown, and it's walkable. All the developments that we've done previously, including multifamily, I'm a big proponent of the mixed use concept.
Heck yeah.
Right? You got to have places for people to go and live at the same time.
Absolutely.
And certainly the Summit Avenue and some of the areas we're targeting in Albany as we're looking at kind of future projects for this use, we're looking for those walkable communities first. We have talked about how we can bring this model to some more rural communities because there are a lot of people who are also struggling with home ownership in our rural communities.
Yes.
There are sometimes a little bit more challenges with smaller townships, zoning, planning. Things are a little more subjective, right? Albany just did a great USDO that's pretty straightforward. As long as you follow the USDO, you're going to get planning and zoning approval. So those types of things make it a little easier. But we have been looking at how we can do rural and what that impact is and how the mass public transportation kind of plays into that.
I want to follow this up. Because
are you gonna mention about trolleys in Schenectady?
Trolleys and chickens, baby.
This guy,
yes.
he's been on this.
How do I get both your votes to bring trolleys back? Not for the first time. No. Back to Schenectady. And we'll talk about chickens another day. But
I knew that was the reason why you asked that question.
Yeah, I lead my question. I'm leading the witness.
I think if there's any local community that would do it, it would be Schenectady.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing what's going on, and hopefully we're going to have a downtown aquarium here if everything pans out as well.
Didn't they just rebuild or redo the Stockade Inn? They're like really renovating certain areas of Schenectady.
Yeah, and again, I'm gonna throw some accolades to Metroplex in that regard. Their ability to nimbly navigate and see how we can revitalize our downtown. So I'll say Metroplex if you want to talk trolleys. I
would like to. Yeah. But you said aquarium. I thought it was an aquatic center.
Aquatic center, yes.
But that's got nothing to do with fish. It's got
I'm sorry, the aquatic center.
Yeah. Which doesn't have parking part of it. But it'd be a great time for a trolley stop. Just reading what I just
Chickens and trolleys.
Chickens and trolleys.
2025?
2030. It's gonna take,
It's gonna take some time.
It'll be there.
Yeah.
Well, that's all from me. David, did you have any other questions?
Do you guys have any events coming up you want to invite people to or talk about? Like, what's your outgoing, public face that you want people to see, come, and interact with? Because you're not doing it for us, right? You guys have your plans, and you're talking about holistic communities. You're not here for the agents that want to sell the property. You're here for the community to which I feel like you actually serve as opposed to sell to. Right, so the community you serve, what kind of interactions are you inviting? How do the people get to see you, interact with you, and build this relationship as you change neighborhoods?
So at the moment, we don't have any events in Schenectady. We're working towards that, just because the construction of Summit Avenue is going to come a little bit later than the homes that we're finishing in Amsterdam. But we do have 2 information sessions for both the buyers and the real estate agents, just because this program is a little bit tricky in what we need from the buyers in order to move forward in the home buying process. I can't remember the exact the location, but we'll be holding them on June 13th and June 15th. June 13th, I believe, from 6 to 8 p.m., and then June 15th, which is a Saturday, from 10 to 12 p.m., just to kind of help with making sure that the real estate agents know what to tell their buyers, just bringing everybody on the same page with what the program needs from everybody. But I can definitely get the location to you guys at a later date.
Yeah, we can put your business card with a website link or a Facebook link.
Yeah,
attached to everything.
AIKproperty.com, right?
Yes, AIKproperty.com has all that information on it.
Perfect.
And they do. There is also a contact form. So if you are interested in looking at the homes or becoming on our mailing list, you fill out the contact form.
Yeah.
John that works for A.I.K with us will reach out. He can help guide you through the process as well, to make sure that you don't get lost a little bit. We're trying to make sure that we help develop that roadmap to home ownership.
Yeah.
Because it can be challenging as well.
Yeah.
And I believe we also have MLB Construction's Instagram should be posting information on where we're going to be holding the events as well. From a marketing standpoint, we've had a few events here at the Schenectady Public Library here in downtown, and we're trying to do some local get-togethers. And
we had an event with all of us. I believe the mayor of Schenectady, who's also been really huge in helping us.
Mayor McCarthy, shout out.
Yeah. And some other community partners came to that event so we could let the community know what we're going to be doing in Hamilton Hill, how you can get one of these homes, just another information session we were doing with a local community partner.
Well, keep up the great work. And we got to see more partnerships like this all over.
Oh, yes.
When we're together, we can do everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is a saying. So,
Yeah.
and we need a Chloe.
Yeah, we do.
That's your marketer right there. Well, you and I need a Chloe.
She's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Taking pictures, videos, marketing MLB and A.I.K. So
Yes.
I appreciate everyone who's here today. David, any last words?
No, I think what we're seeing with the conversation today, it takes community to build a community, and it feels like that's the goal. And I'm sure we could talk to Damien. I could, anyways, for hours about mixed use integrations, because I'm a huge proponent of that.
With chickens and trolleys.
Chickens and dude, I'm telling you. But it's about being local, but being able to go within your community easy enough that everything feels local. That's just mixed use propaganda there.
No, it makes a lot of sense when you live where you work, where you play. There's a big piece of that, and it's not to say that there aren't opportunities for suburbs or more rural opportunities, but having that live, work, play, mixed use environment, I think, really fosters a sense of community
And decreases miles on your car.
It does do that as well.
I drive up to South Glens Falls every day, so you can imagine the miles on my car.
Oh my God. Yeah. So again, to reiterate, thank you both so much, Jerry. I think we rocked it today, man. We had some great guests. So thank you to Maurice, who's not here, for setting this up. I'm going to wait for the empty chair. Maurice,
Thank you, Maurice.
I'm really excited about actually seeing your project go through the stages, because I probably will set up across the street if you let me and video you drop in these boxes and make houses.
2 days, I think, from dropping to weather tight.
That's so. I barely have to speed that up. I can get there for 24, 48 hours.
You don't even really need a time lapse.
Yeah, exactly.
You're invited to the ribbon cutting.
Thank you.
Do it.
Much.
Usually have one.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.